What if modern psychology is not as scientific as it claims to be? What if beneath the clinical language, diagnostic terminology, and sterile academic frameworks still exists the hidden structure of ancient occult philosophy? Most people imagine psychology as something completely separated from mysticism, ritual, Hermeticism, and the Western mystery tradition. But historically, that division is surprisingly recent. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the boundary between science and the occult was far less defined than modern culture assumes. The same intellectual circles investigating hypnosis, dreams, trauma, magnetism, dissociation, and the unconscious mind were often simultaneously exploring seances, mediumship, spiritualism, alchemy, symbolism, and esoteric philosophy. The laboratory and the seance room were not entirely separate worlds. And perhaps nowhere is this more visible than in the development of depth psychology itself. Before Carl Jung became one of the most influential psychologists in history, he was deeply immersed in mythology, Gnosticism, alchemy, symbolism, tarot, Hermetic philosophy, and the Western esoteric tradition. To Jung, the psyche was not merely biological machinery. It was symbolic terrain, a living mythological structure populated by archetypes, shadows, symbols, dreams, and unconscious forces operating beneath awareness. And many of the concepts now treated as mainstream psychology emerged directly from older mystical frameworks that had existed for centuries beforehand. The unconscious itself once carried deeply supernatural implications. Victorian spiritualism played a massive role in shaping early psychological theory. Mediums entering trance states forced scientists and physicians to confront strange phenomena that appeared impossible to explain through ordinary rational frameworks. Automatic writing, split personalities, voice shifts, dissociation, altered states, trance communication, memory fragmentation. What earlier centuries may have interpreted as possession or spirit influence gradually became reframed through clinical language. The supernatural became psychological, but the underlying experiences remained strangely similar. This is why many early psychiatric institutions often resembled occult investigations as much as scientific environments. Because psychology itself partially emerged from attempts to map invisible forces operating within the human psyche. Even Franz Mesmer's theories of animal magnetism, though later dismissed scientifically, influenced hypnosis, trance state research, and the study of subconscious susceptibility profoundly. The hidden architecture of consciousness became impossible to ignore, and Jung eventually took this exploration further than almost anyone else. While Freud attempted to reduce the psyche primarily to repression and instinct, Jung believed the unconscious contained something much deeper and more symbolic. Universal patterns, ancient mythological structures, archetypes repeating across civilizations. He noticed his patients produced symbols nearly identical to ancient alchemical manuscripts, Gnostic imagery, religious iconography, and Hermetic diagrams, despite having no conscious knowledge of them. To Jung, this suggested that the unconscious mind was not merely personal, it was collective. A vast symbolic reservoir shared across humanity itself. And this is where psychology begins intersecting directly with the Western mystery tradition. Because alchemy was never simply primitive chemistry, its symbolism described inner transformation. The transmutation of lead into gold represented psychological and spiritual refinement. The chaotic unconscious becoming integrated consciousness. The fragmented psyche becoming whole. Jung recognized that medieval alchemists were unknowingly mapping processes of psychological transformation centuries before modern psychology formalized similar ideas clinically. The alchemical stage of Negredo, the blackening, mirrors psychological collapse and confrontation with the shadow. Dissolution mirrors ego breakdown. Coagulation mirrors reintegration into a transformed identity. And individuation itself resembles an initiatory process remarkably similar to ancient mystery school traditions. The occult and the psychological were never fully separate systems. They were different languages, attempting to describe similar internal phenomena. Even modern therapeutic concepts often contain hidden ritual structures beneath the surface. Visualization techniques resemble ceremonial imagination practices used in Hermetic traditions. Affirmations resemble incantatory repetition. Mindfulness resembles contemplative mysticism. Shadow work mirrors initiatory confrontation with hidden aspects of the self. And modern branding, storytelling, and identity construction rely heavily upon archetypal structures that originated in mythological and esoteric systems. The hero, the sage, the rebel, the shadow, the mother, the trickster. Ancient gods and spirits gradually became psychological categories. The sacred symbols never disappeared. They became secularized, sterilized, rebranded through modern language. Even tarot and Kabbalistic systems continue influencing personality frameworks, symbolic interpretation, and psychological categorization far more than most people realize. The structure survives even after the mystical terminology is removed. And perhaps this reveals something deeply important about human consciousness itself. Because despite modernity's attempt to strip reality of symbolism and transcendence, the psyche continuously recreates symbolic structures automatically. Human beings naturally generate myth, meaning, archetype, ritual, narrative, symbolic projection. The modern world often dismisses the sacred intellectually, while unconsciously reproducing it psychologically. And perhaps this is partially why modern society feels spiritually fragmented. Because contemporary psychology often studies the mechanisms of meaning while refusing to engage fully with the existential and symbolic dimensions that give meaning its emotional power. The sacred was removed, but the psychological hunger for it remained. And now digital culture attempts to fill the void through online identities, fandoms, algorithmic tribalism, hyperconsumption, political mythology, parasocial attachment, and fragmented pseudo-spiritual systems. The symbolic instinct never disappeared. It merely changed form. This is why reconciling psychology with the Western mystery tradition may become increasingly important moving forward. Not because every mystical claim should be accepted literally, but because ancient systems understood something modernity often forgets. Human beings are symbolic creatures. We are shaped not only by biology and rationality, but by myth, image, ritual, archetype, meaning, narrative, and unconscious symbolism operating beneath awareness itself. And perhaps the future of psychology will not be a complete rejection of science, but a reintegration of symbolic and experiential wisdom with scientific understanding. A synthesis between neuroscience and myth, between cognition and ritual, between biology and consciousness. Because the deeper we explore the psyche, the more the ancient symbolic machinery beneath modern consciousness begins revealing itself again. And perhaps the strangest realization of all is this: modern psychology did not fully escape the occult. It inherited its architecture. It simply changed the language. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and have a wonderful day.